Today's all about 2 very easy ways to catch fish, a handful of other tips and tricks, and of course, we're going to be going on an awesome bank fishing adventure. We're going to be fishing and exploring an absolutely stunning Tennessee creek today. However, the tips, the tricks, the techniques are going to work on just about any body of fresh water you got that has fish in it. We're going to start out with our first method and one of the easiest lures to fish, the inline spinner. One thing to keep in mind about Roostertails or inline spinners in general is that the larger you go, the more you're going to close the door on some of those smaller species of fish. If you're just getting out there on the water trying to catch anything, I highly recommend starting out with that 1/8 ounce size. It's going to catch just about anything. Now I've selected a 1/8 ounce black and silver blade to get us started today. I really prefer these natural colors, your blacks, your browns, your whites when it comes to these clearer bodies of water. And I like the silver blade when you got a little bit of sunshine peeking through. It's going to reflect that really, really well. Let's get this on the water and let's see what we can do. So I can almost promise you there's going to be a fish up in this current. However, we are going to start out right over here. We got a little more open water so we can talk about our retrieve. So very, very easy lure to fish. You simply have to retrieve this thing. As you retrieve this through the water column, this blade right here is going to spin. It's going to put out a good vibration and a bit of flash, drawing those fish in. So one thing to keep in mind when we're talking about Roostertails is that you do want to avoid bottom contact on that retrieve. We're dealing with a smaller trebled hook, so it is a recipe for a snag, and losing a handful of these can get pretty expensive. Now a good way to do that is by casting your lure out there, raising up on your rod tip, so lifting up on your rod as you retrieve and increasing the rate of your retrieve. So cranking just a little bit faster, it's going to cause that lure to climb in the water column. Now let's break that skunk, let's catch our first fish. So one thing about this area is that the current is absolutely rushing. We're dealing with a heavy flow. It chokes up right there, it gets shallower, and this water is just pushing through. We're going to be running with the current or perpendicular to it. Really how I prefer to fish these inline spinners, man. Going against that is going to put a ton of resistance on that blade. It's going to be like pulling a Cessna through the water, and while it may catch you fish, I've had a lot more luck running with or perpendicular to it. It just works better in my opinion, man. It's more of a natural presentation. Let's get this bait out there. We'll make a couple casts from here. We'll reposition ourselves and then we'll make our jump. There we go. Our first one, man, beautiful. Not exactly what we're going for, but we're happy to have her. Beautiful rainbow trout. That didn't take very long at all. And there we go, my friends, our first fish of the day, an absolutely stunning rainbow trout. Now they are all stalkers, all the trout out of here. We don't have native trout in these streams. However, this is a very diverse area when it comes to different fish species, so we're bound to be catching a handful of different stuff, a wide variety of fish out of this area. All right, so we are on our way down to our second spot. There's not much to stand on, but I can tell someone else has tried to fish this spot recently. Gonna give us a huge advantage because I am wearing some mucks. Well, these aren't mucks, but boots that I can stand in the water with. I'm already seeing some bait kind of shoot away. So we have that current from spot one. If you can see that tire, that's right where we were standing, and it starts slacking off right here, which is generally a pretty awesome place to catch fish, just right below a faster moving current, man. I got a feeling something's probably sitting right down here. So we do have to be careful not to step in any of these deeper pockets, man. It does drop off pretty quickly in these areas, and it's chilly, man. The wind just amplifies things. It's about 45 degrees. We're looking at pushing 60 today, but that's not going to be till hours from now, if the weather can be trusted. I'll tell you what, that sun is super nice though. We're going to continue to cast up into this current, kind of around these little rocks, if y'all can see those, and see if anything's sitting up here. Fish, there we go. What are we working with, man? It's tiny. I know what you are. All right, so we got a tiny little rock bass right here. And you can see right there, those smaller rooster tails will catch tiny fish. I highly doubt we could have caught one this size on that soft plastic. These fish do get larger in this area. You can catch some straight up slabs out here. Now I am gonna need some pliers to get this safely unhooked. Pretty fish, definitely one to be thankful for, man. You're tiny, but the size doesn't really matter right now. We're going for anything. All right, everybody, so we have made a mega spot jump and we are getting into method number 2. This is a surefire way to catch fish, worms. And we're working with big red worms. I just had a peek at them. Let me tell you, they're not as big as I expected them to be. So rigging wise, we're running a size 5 piece of split shot to a size 6 Aberdeen hook. Now that size 6 is very, very important. It's gonna catch just about anything out there, man. As soon as you start getting larger in the hook department, you're gonna discriminate against a lot of those smaller panfish that would love to eat one of these worms. And if you're like me, you just want to catch anything out there, this size right here is really the way to go. Even a size 4 gets on the larger size for some of these smaller brim swimming around the water we're fishing right here. All right, so we are going to pop our worms open. We're going to find ourselves a nice little ditty to throw. There we go, there's one. Very, very lively right there. And we're not actually going to throw this whole worm. The 2 mistakes I see people making a lot while targeting smaller panfish like we are right now, or really anything willing to bite, is throwing too large of a worm and too large of a hook. The size 6 with probably a quarter of this worm is going to catch them. I guarantee you we'll get slammed out here. So we're going to cut this little bad boy in half. I'm sorry, buddy. Right about here. There we go. And we're going to rig this up on our hook. That right there is gonna do it. So I've also chosen not to run a float, and most of the time if I can get away with it, I prefer to go bobberless. We're running our split shot 6 to 8 inches above our hook. That's gonna get the job done for us out here. However, if you got little kids, you're fishing a super snaggy area, I do recommend one, and one like this, either that styrofoam type stuff or one of these nicer floats right here. As soon as you get into the thick plastic bobber territory, I mean, this thing is just a piece of junk, man. They tend to leak, they tend to take in water. Sometimes you'll get a good one, but I haven't really had too many good experiences with that. Now let's get this bait on the water and let's pull some fish. And we might actually take our worms with us. We are going to be walking through some heavy duty muck, man. It is really, really muddy over here. However, this spot just hits. It's totally worth the struggle getting out here. And we got some foot protection right now. We just got to be careful not to sink in too far. This is some super swampy stuff. It'll pull you right in, but it's totally worth it. We need as much depth as we can get right now, and our water levels are pretty low. Now let's just cast this right out there. I'm running an ultralight rod right now. This is a 6'9" ultralight fast action rod. And we're running 4-pound monofilament to that split shot. And hook setup. We're just gonna give this a few twitches. Fishing pretty close to the bottom right now. I'm already feeling nibbles. Let's get that back in there and get it back out there. Highly recommend checking your worm pretty frequently. We lost a little bit of that worm, that is for sure. And they like to steal them. And just a little twiddle, twiddle, twiddle. There we go, fish. Did not take long. Tiny little one, and probably species number 3 out here. Let's see what we're working with. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful bluegill, and we still have our worm. How about that? There we go, my friends. Species number 3, the bluegill. Kind of what I was looking for out here. We do have a wide variety of panfish, and we still got our worm. That is why that size 6 hook is so essential, man. A size 4 even would be pushing it with this fish right here, but it had no problem getting that in its mouth. And we'll just send you on your way, buddy. See if we can get a couple more uses out of this worm. There we go. And we're just gonna, again, just gently kind of twitch up on our rod tip, man. Just kind of bouncing that worm right off the bottom. There we go. And another one, man. Feels maybe a little bigger. Oh yeah, oh yeah, another bluegill. That's a good one. That's a nice fish right there. Beautiful. And there we go, my friends, an absolute slab of a bluegill. That's a good size one, man. She's chunky, definitely chunky. That is a good size fish for sure, and I do highly recommend bringing a little pair of pliers with you, man. Off she goes. Now, before we make our next spot jump and get into some more tips and tricks out here, let's throw our Roostertail in the same body of water and see what we can pull with that. This is gonna give us a little more distance. This area is like super productive, man, but it's nasty, dude. I mean, you can just see the slop we're working our way through right now. This stuff's a little more stable. Hey, let's just get this out there. Whoa, she got away from me. There we go. Okay, that's something different, man. These ones are usually more inclined to take that Roostertail rather than those bluegills. This is one of my favorite species of panfish, man. This is a long ear sunfish and an absolutely gorgeous one. Just look at those colors. So I have to show this fish off because it's one of my favorites, one of the coolest looking fish in this area. They look like ocean fish, man. The long ear. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Let's get you back in. I got you all muddy. And off she goes. And with that, let's get on our way. It's interesting, man. I have areas where bluegill will absolutely demolish the inline spinner. Here, not so much, man. Most of the time you're catching them, it's on worms or bait like that, Berkeley gulp bait, that sort of thing. So we're on the move to our next spot, right down here below an awesome little flow. It does look fairly shallow, but I'm confident we'll be able to pull something out of here. And we got a bird over there, always a great sign, man. They key on that bait like no other. Oh, he's eating one right now, a little bait fish. Now the problem is getting down here, which is pretty sketchy, my friends. We're just gonna kind of slide our way down. This can be an awesome spot. One of the reasons it is so awesome is because it's hard to get down to. Doesn't get as much pressure. Oh, we're stuck on a tree. We're stuck on a tree. We're actually stuck on some thorns. Big old thorns here, big greenies. All right, here we go. Super, super pretty little area. Love wading this spot. Right now it's still a little too cold to do that, so we'll make do with what we got. But this area can pack fish. All right, so we are gonna start working this area where this flow just kind of spills out really up against this bank. We'll start out with our lure, our inline spinner, and we'll work our way up into this cover over here. Down there, it gets a bit unfishable. We might try to traverse it, though might still be too deep to do so. And obviously, we're not wading, so I don't want a boat full of water. But let's see if we got anything hiding over here. We're having an awesome multi-species day out here. I mean, rainbow, bluegill, rock bass, long ear. We need to catch some bass, and we got the trifecta out here. So we'll try to work our way into some more bassier spots. Nothing out of that little area. We're gonna work our way right here, fish this section out, see if we can pull something. Then we're gonna make a switch to our worms, where I can guarantee you we're gonna pull something out of this area. I've caught a nice trout out of this area. I've caught some smallies too. Ooh. Felt like a bite. Could have been just hung on something. There we go. Fish on. There we go. Trout. See her over there, man. Beautiful one. The trout skin. Oh no, I'm wrong, man. That is our species number 5. Large, I think. Nope. Spot. Well, there we go, my friends. A super beautiful spotted bass. Definitely on the smaller side. They get a bit larger out here. Let's get her back in. Let's see if we can pull another one. And on the old Roostertail, man. Thanks for biting, buddy. Off she goes, blending right in with that water. Turning out to be a pretty awesome day. It's hard to beat these two lures when you're just getting out on the water trying to catch anything. And we've caught a pretty wide variety today already. So I run into a lot of people fishing down here for bass exclusively, which I love bass fishing, man. That's where my heart's at. However, there are so, we got thumped. We got thumped. There are so many awesome species willing to eat, man. If we were just out here fishing for bass, I guarantee you, we'd probably only catch a handful. But with these two lures, man, we can catch anything. We'll see if that fish will bite again. That was another bass, I think. Oh man, that's a shame we missed her. That'll happen. Right up against that bank, dude. And again, we're raising up our rod tip. We're running this bait high due to how shallow this area is and the amount of debris you guys can see down here. Rocks, sticks, that sort of thing. And we're gonna head back out to the area we did start out in right over here. We're gonna try to pull one on our worms. Again, we're just taking a little chunk off this worm right here, about yay much, and we'll see what she can do. So there's a good chance that we snag up almost instantly out here, but it's worth the risk in my opinion. There we go, right under that stump. And again, we're just gonna kind of let it work its way through the current, raising up on our rod tip, little twitches here and there, bringing a little attention to that bait. All right, okay, so that's kind of where we want to go. A little too close to all those sticks for my liking, but hey, that might just do the trick. Okay, good fish, good fish. There we go, little one. Barely even felt her on there. Another tiny, tiny little bluegill, and we managed to keep our worm. I mean, after throwing that inline spinner here for a good, probably close to 10 minutes. If you really just want to catch some fish, man, this is straight up the answer. So nothing else out of that little hole. Didn't stay there too long. We got a fresh chunk on. We're gonna chuck this worm right up here where we lost that bass. And then we're gonna keep on keeping on, in the words of Joe Dirt. Again, super snaggy area. A risk I'm willing to take right now though. Might never see that little worm again. Fish. There we go. Oh, what is that? Smallie, maybe. Oh, she's fighting hard. Yes, our smallmouth bass, man. Actually, we have her hooked like perfectly. I always worry about them choking these hooks, these little Aberdeens. And what a gorgeous smallie she is, dude. Just look at her, man. Super light. Really, really beautiful, my friends. My gosh, dude, I love that golden speckling on them. So that's like species number 6, if I'm not mistaken, our second bass of the day. We'll get her back in. Maybe throw one more cast in this area since it seems to be hitting right now. Here she goes. So the spot does hold the trifecta, your largemouth, your spotted bass, and your smallmouth. We got 2 down. We're looking for that largie right now. So we're on the road yet again. And we're coming to a spot that I've grown quite fond of. Now, I do know this creek very, very well. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. I know where a lot of these fish are gonna be sitting, but it makes it easier for me to make a video like this where we're actually out here catching fish and in an area that I understand. Now let's just work our way through this little ditch right here that's super buggy right now. Yeah, we got some stagnant water sitting right here. It's nasty, man. It smells bad. Now we're gonna get started with our Roostertail, man. The lure I want them to eat right now. And we'll start out by just running one perpendicular to that current right up against that bank. I know they're going to eat the worm. I want them to eat the inline spinner. We should be able to pick something up on it. So this spot right over here, this ledge, every time we have like a big flooding event, which we had 2 last year, this creek changes, man. It's different, right? So you used to be able to get down there and stand on a little chunk of land, which we probably can right now with what we're wearing. However, it is very, very steep. Might not be worth the risk, but that area has produced some really, really nice bass with pretty good consistency for me. Almost within casting distance, not quite, but that whole kind of section can be great. Right now we're looking for a largemouth, so we might try to make our way over there. See if it's even possible to get down there. Just by the looks of it, I think it's a bit unlikely. It might not be worth the risk of just straight up falling in this creek right now. Well, it is warming up out here. It's still pretty chilly water. So we've been going at this a minute, and it's time to find out what's ignoring our inline spinner out here. Good rule of thumb, one I live by, is if I don't get bit in 15 minutes and I can jump to another spot, usually a good time to jump to another spot. Really does depend on the time of year. Winter, that rule kind of goes out the window. But early spring, like now, summer, fall even, I like to move around a lot most of the time. There we go. Kind of right out there in the middle. It should be deep enough. It should draw them in. We'll get riskier and riskier if they don't eat this right here. I'm imagining there's fish down there. It's kind of a deeper pocket. There we go. First cast, itty bitty. Tiny one, tiniest of the day, man. But I respect you and I'm thankful for you. I'm gonna carefully unhook you. Dude, look at that little fish right there. Thank you for biting. That's wild, dude. This might just not be a very fishy area right now for whatever reason. We'll get one out here by that cover. Get a little riskier with it. There we go. A little better. A little better. Long ear. A super pretty looking ocean style fish, man. Good hook on her too. Pretty one on the smaller side for sure, but another really beautiful long ear. Again, my favorite little panfish species. Yeah, we still got our worm. So not too much going on at that last spot, but we have made a jump. We're still seeking out that largemouth bass, and I'm pretty optimistic. I'll say I'm cautiously optimistic we can pull one out of this area right here. This does tend to be on the bassier side, so let's see what we can do. We got a lot of rock structure, as you can see. Some of this stuff's shallow, but there are a lot of little rocks out here in the water that I think we can run this Roostertail over and hopefully get lucky. Right, let's just get our inline out there. The old Roostertail, man. This area looks just juicy. I usually don't stand down here on these rocks, but couldn't help myself today. I am looking for some little change of scenery, some new experiences out here. There we go, fish on. What is that? Something aggressive. Largemouth, I think. No. A very large rock bass. Okay, so the second species we caught in today's video, we caught one that was really, really tiny. This is an example of one, well, I'd say a good medium-sized one. She definitely has some meat on her though. Get her back in, not exactly what we're looking for. Trying to get that largie on. That structure is key, especially when it comes to your bass out here. And this area is packed full of it. A lot of logs under there, very, very snaggy, risky spot for sure, but we've gone through the day without losing one of these yet, so if it happens, it happens. It's worth it. There we go. Oh, right onto one, man. That's gotta be a bass the way that just ate it. No, Look at that, man. What is that? Chub? Shiner, I think, actually. Just devoured that hook right there. Another species unlocked, man, and she took it like immediately as soon as that bait hit the water. We're gonna have to use some pliers. Somehow this fish has managed to get all 3 trebles in its mouth. Always a pain in the butt. All right, easy. All right, and on your way. Sorry about that unhooking, my friend. If I was a betting man, I would have guessed that was a bass at how aggressively and how quickly that fish picked up this bait, man. Let's just try that again. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. If you're new to the channel, this is the part where we talk about the baits, the lures, that sort of thing. Now, I know a lot of my audience are very experienced anglers, but we got people from all walks of life, all different experience levels here, and I wanted to make an educational one while still taking you on a little bank fishing adventure. Now let's get into it. Now, Roostertails, man, we talked about the size a little bit. That 1/8 ounce size, just what I'm really partial to when I'm trying to catch a wide variety of fish. And reason being, you can catch small little panfish on that itty bitty treble right there, as well as larger fish too. Once you start downsizing or upsizing, you kind of discriminate against either the larger fish or those smaller fish. To put this in perspective for you, this is a 1/4 ounce size right here if you're unfamiliar with the sizes of these baits, and you can just tell by those 2 trebles, man. This 1/4 ounce is considerably bigger. You're gonna have a harder time catching those smaller fish on it, man. Well, this one will catch large ones as well as a tiny ones, my friends. That's why I like that 1/8 ounce size so much. Now, blade color, we're gonna jump down this rabbit hole very quickly. You're gonna find these baits with silver blades, man. Bronze or gold, whatever you want to call it, or copper blades. You can see they're a little different right there. This one's just a little bit darker. And last but not least, we got your painted blades. We got straight up black, kind of a cool tiger stripe pattern, and your sparkly orange. Those are like the cool painted ones I had on hand. Now, most of the time, if a fish is hungry and it sees this bait, regardless of your blade color, I'm under the impression they're probably gonna eat it. They're not gonna stop and say, ooh, wow, that one's painted like a tiger. I don't want that. Well, this one's silver. I'm gonna go for it. The reason I experiment with colors, the reason I choose certain colors for different conditions is to up my odds of those fish seeing it in the first place. So when it comes to a silver blade, if it's a sunny day out, man, I'm throwing it, okay? I'm going silver all day long. It's gonna reflect that light very well. I also prefer silver blades when it comes to clearer water. So like the creek we were working throughout this video, we were dealing with crystal clear conditions, man, and the silver blade just does wonders in it. Now, when it comes to your like bronze or copper blades, I prefer this for a good stain on the water. I think it shows up a little bit better, or those overcasty days. Last but not least, your painted blades. I'm gonna be throwing these in straight up muck, man. Like this black right here, that's gonna show up really well when you're dealing with just poor, awful clarity, man, as well as the orange. Sometimes I just throw them for fun because they look cool, like this one right here. So I do want to double down on that Aberdeen hook as well. Now, I tried to be very adamant on the size I use being a size 6 when I'm targeting panfish in general. So here's a look at these different sizes. This right here is a size 8, okay? You can see that is stupid tiny. This right here is the size 6. That's what we were running. And this is the next size up, a size 4, okay? So yeah, the numbers go like that. The larger the number, the smaller the size. Why? I don't know. It is what it is. Anyhow, the 6 and the 4 right here, man, you can see there is a huge difference. And the reason I keep bringing this up is because when I was younger and went pan fishing with my brother, we didn't even really pay attention to the size hook we were throwing, and I remember just waxing them. We just straight up clean them up. But as I started focusing on fishing, when I got older, I wanted to learn more about fishing. I wanted to go out bluegill fishing, and I bought size 4s. I thought they would do a-okay. And I could catch, I think I probably went out there and caught like a couple fish. It was a struggle, dude, an all out struggle. I was running worms. I thought it was my bait, and I thought it was my setup or whatever. The next time I went out, I changed my hook size to a size 6 and I straight up cleaned them out, man. I caught a ton of fish. It was the hook I was running was too big. I'm not saying they won't eat this hook right here, because they probably will, but you're certainly not gonna catch as many as you will on a hook like this, because smaller fish can fit this in their mouth better. That is all I have for you today, my friends. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this one. As always, if you want to support my channel, all you got to do is like and subscribe. It means a great deal to me. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and get some good fish on, my friends. By the way, I'll set this end screen to be a playlist of like educational videos. I have like different bait tutorials and stuff if you're trying to watch more of these tutorial style videos. Anyhow, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.